You are tuned into Truth to Power, and we are not on WEAC Radio tonight. We are actually on StreamYard. And I'm Patty Patton, the host of Truth to Power, and I have my co-host here, Sharice Senior.
Hey, everybody, what's up?
Yep, Sharice is all the way in is it La Chiba, Honduras?
La Ceiba.
La Ceiba, Honduras.
La Ceiba.
La Ceiba at the compound, Dr. Sabi's compound, where she has moved and left us here in the United States. She moved to La Ceiba. Oh, Sharice, how is it, girl? How is it there?
It is, man, it's really good. I mean, I haven't even really done anything special yet other than just settling in and relaxing. You know, it's the holiday season here as well. So it's kind of wind down season, but I'm ready for the first of the year to pop up so we can get into action.
Okay. So you guys are at the Usha village, correct? Where all the healing takes place.
We're at Usha Village. I'm actually in Dr. Sabi's room right now that he used to stay in. This room is called Lily of the Valley. This is his room that he stayed in before he built the first house that is turned to a museum, or, you know, so this is where before he built that house, this is the room he would stay in, or this was the room he built for the village. Also, I just wanted to show you, I have a little special guest here with me. This is Dr. Sabi's youngest daughter, and her name is
Taiwa.
How are you doing, Taiwa? All the way from La Ceiba, Honduras. How are you doing this evening, Taiwa?
I'm fine. Very nice.
Sharice been very nice to you. I know she has.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
That's my baby girl. She's sweetie.
How old is she? How old are you, Taiwa?
10.
You're 10? Wow.
10.
All right. Oh, great. Well, I'm kind of nervous, y'all, because this evening, boy, we've got a very exciting show this evening. Sharice and I have decided to do our DNA so we can trace our roots back to Africa. And we did what they call the matriclan test. So it's a test that shows your mother's mother all the way back to 2,000 years ago. I guess that's it.
The maternal side.
Yeah, the maternal side.
Yes.
So, yeah, I guess, you know.
Do we want to?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, did we want to touch on COVID before we go all the way
Let's
into
do that after we do this, because we only have a limited time with Dr. Page. So listen, you all, I wanted to introduce our guest for this evening. We decided to take the African Ancestry test for various reasons, and we'll reveal that in a minute why we decided to do African Ancestry. And also, I want you all to know that we are in the 4th day of Kwanzaa, and today is Ujamaa, which means cooperative economics. So, you know, Sharice is a business owner, a Black business owner. I'm a Black business owner, and so is Dr. Page. So we are actively participating and active in cooperative economics as far as it's concerned, as far as Black people and businesses and so forth. Mm-hmm. So today is day 4 of Kwanzaa. So let me introduce Dr. Page. Dr. Page is the co-founder and president of African Ancestry Incorporated. And it was in 2003, Dr. Page co-founded African Ancestry, Inc. In doing so, pioneered a way of tracing African lineages using genetics and a new marketplace for people of African descent looking to more accurately and reliably trace their roots. Page travels the world helping people demystify their roots and inform on identities so that they may understand who they are by knowing where they're from. Page has worked with and revealed the roots of the world's leading icons and entities, including Oprah Winfrey, John Legend, Chadwick Boseman, Spike Lee, Condoleezza Rice, the King family, and I think Erykah Badu. I think so. But nevertheless, without further delay, I'd like to bring on our guest this evening, Gina Page. Peace, Gina.
Hey,
Hi,
Habari
guys. How
Gani.
you doing?
Happy
Habari
Kwanzaa.
gani, Ujama. We are definitely practicing cooperative economics this evening.
Mhm.
I told Sharice, I guess we took this test, I guess back in, what was it, October or September?
It seems like
It's been a few
forever.
months. It's
I
been a
know.
couple of
Yes,
months.
it's been a few months.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, yeah, we decided that we wanted to go with African ancestry for the reason of we wanted to make sure that our DNA was definitely protected.
Mhm.
I have seen some other sites that have mentioned those other companies. If you've taken tests with them, you can use those test results for some type of diet plan or something like that. And I'm just like, okay, so why are they saving these things in the first place?
Mhm.
They're saying that they can use those genetics to kind of tell you what your body type is, which is strange to me. But nevertheless, we'd like to just, before we get started, just do a little bit of a background of who you are and how you came about to co-found AfricanAncestry.com.
Oh, what should I say? So, African Ancestry was created by the community, really.
Okay.
My business partner, Dr. Rick Kittles, and I, uh, we had been talking. He had done the research to reconnect Black people to Africa. And when the community found out that it was possible, he was inundated with requests. And so he, of course, is a geneticist and is a researcher and doesn't have time to be starting or managing a business. So we collaborated, partnered, so that I could commercialize his research and make this testing available to the world. My background is in corporate brand management. So I've managed product lines like Palmolive dish liquid, Sara Lee frozen pies, Baby Magic products. So I know how to create new products and launch them and manage businesses. And he had the actual product itself. So it was a natural fit for the two of us to work together. And it was an opportunity for me to be able to bring something brand new to the world that has never existed before, for the benefit of people that I'm passionate about, which is Black people.
Okay. Well, that's a beautiful thing. You know, we are very anxious to get our results, but before we do that,
You're like,
uh,
yeah, that's great, but we need to know where we're from.
yeah, but you know, but what I want you to explain to our listeners, the test that we took and how that test, you know, comes about.
Okay. So we offer two tests. One test traces maternal ancestry, which is mother to mother to mother to mother, all the way back 500 to 2,000 years. Anybody can take that test, males, females, doesn't matter. We also offer a test that traces paternal ancestry, father to father to father on back. That's not the test that we did. So you guys took the matriclan test, and at its very core, in the most simplest terms, you've inherited DNA from your mother that didn't change over generations. It's called mitochondrial DNA. That mitochondrial DNA has a signature, making it the exact same signature as that woman who was stolen from the continent of Africa, brought to wherever here in the Americas, and then, who gave rise to all of your mothers. So you have that DNA with that signature in your body. We have a database of indigenous African DNA from indigenous Africans. So we have that same DNA from over 33,000 Africans with their codes. And so we took your DNA, unlocked the code or the signature, and then compared it to all the DNA in our database to look for a match.
Okay.
And when we find matches, you have to share ancestry with that person because mitochondrial DNA does not change significantly over the 2,000-year period that we're looking at. So it's really just a matching exercise. Fundamentally, at its core, it's a matching exercise. The thing that is special about our test. So even if we did sell your DNA like the other companies, or researched it or whatever, which we do not and never have,
Mhm.
we're the only ones that can tell you, one, if that lineage, that branch of your tree is going to be from Africa, and if it is, the present day country and the tribe or ethnic group. So it's not just that we respect your DNA, that we honor and respect it, but we're giving you information that nobody else can give you. And the information that we give you is not just for you, but it's for your entire maternal line. So your kids, your brothers and sisters, your nieces and nephews, your mother, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your grandmother, everybody on that line, grandchildren, when and if you have them, everybody is going to now know where they're from because of the one test that you took. And so
Wow.
those are the things that make us special and unique.
Well, you know what's interesting to me? My cousin's niece had sent me something that she had received from one of those other companies, and she said that, well, Patty, she did her maternal ancestry and found out that she was related to Lucy, and I was like, well, aren't we all related to Lucy? I mean, that's the oldest, I guess, DNA that they found, and it was a black woman, right? In Ethiopia,
East Africa.
yeah, in Africa. Yes, it's, oh yeah, it said part of the L cluster of haplogroups, which have been concretely characterized as representing the original human mitochondrial lineage, haplogroup L1C is found in Africa. But wouldn't that apply to all Africans and Black Americans?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I
So
thought.
basically, they told her that she was African.
Yeah, I was gonna say they didn't really give much.
And I can tell everybody who's listening who
You're
is of
African.
African descent, you African. You, and you probably from West Africa. If your family is part of the transatlantic slave trade journey, you're from West Africa. That's what other companies are telling people, that you're some percentage from this region of Africa and some percentage from that region of Africa, which nets out to you're African, you're West African.
We
But
know what.
we know that. That's not really the question you're searching. You're searching for the answer of who were my people? What were the traditions and the cultural beliefs and the practices, the values that are part of my identity?
And to add to that too, it said that it was around 60,000 years old and second to LO, meaning second to the first daughter of Eve and Adam. Okay, Eve and Adam in a real situation. So, it's just okay. So the whole point that I'm trying to make is that I want the listeners to understand the authenticity that your company provides, that keeps us in mind, safeguards our DNA, which is very precious, is not sold to anyone else, and that you're speaking the truth. You actually went to the villages and you swiped different mouths of different tribe members. Is that correct?
Well, so we didn't go,
Okay.
but the DNA was collected, and at the time it was collected through blood, because our database is about 30 years old now.
Okay.
So there wasn't the swabbing technology then.
Mhm.
But it was collected from people, yes, living in the countries, and it was collected through research partnerships with researchers on the continent, African researchers, and the people who provided the DNA did it anonymously, so we respect their identities as well. And they reported that their families were from this place and indigenous to these groups, and
Okay. So before Sharice asks a question, how long will it take for you to give us our results so I can kind of time this thing? Because it's like 6:15 now.
oh, I mean, I could do it in 2 minutes.
Okay,
So
because
we have plenty of time.
we got some more questions. We want to keep you
Yeah, we
on.
have plenty. I won't let us get to the point where we're rushed. I got you.
Okay,
I
all
got
right.
you, Matt.
Three.
So I want to ask you, with the collection of data, do you plan on, I don't know, looking at it and finding out? So I feel like with all of that information, you'll be able to say, well, most of the people are from here, or most of African Americans, like you just said about West Africa. But I'm saying more in a holistic view of the darker people of the earth. It seems like you'll be able to tell the trail of the story through DNA. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So I guess I would say yes and no. So what we are able to tell you is the countries and the ethnic groups that we find results for the most often.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not looking at migration patterns through DNA. So
Okay.
when we give you your answer, then you have some homework. You get
Right.
to study those people and see how they migrated to the present day locations where they came from, and then it becomes more of a history exercise than a genetic one.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go back to some things that I may have thought or what my family told me. So this is my mother's side. So my mother, her maiden name was Wilson, and
Mm-hmm.
my mother's maiden name was Bailey. And they're from Meridian, Mississippi. And I was told from a cousin and that we have Native American in our ancestry. Now, I'm not sure if it's from my grandmother's side or my grandfather's side, but there is um, Choctaw land in that area. So my aunt, which was my mother's sister, said we had Blackfoot. So I was like, okay, well, whatever it is, I'm just like, okay, I'm open. I never really thought about it. I grew up in Los Angeles, and most of my friends are from the South as well. Most of them are from New Orleans. And then we also have um, different relatives that are from New Orleans as well. So I find it kind of interesting that the Native American, part came into it because my cousin told me that my grandmother was a shaman. My mother's parents had a farm, and my mother grew up on a farm, and they had actually my grandfather was a very well known farmer in the area. Um, their farm was probably about 20 minutes from Philadelphia, Mississippi. Unfortunately, where those people were, the freedom riders were killed, and
Wow.
so they were 20 minutes from there. And unfortunately, the story is that my grandfather hung himself in a barn. I don't think that's true. I don't think he committed suicide. I think it's something totally different. But to go all the way back to my grandmother, the stories about her healing different people with, what she grew around, in the gardens and also, on the farm. They
Mm-hmm.
also have a live spring because I remember as a child going there, growing up in Los Angeles, going to the South, I hated it. You know what I mean? But it's quite interesting about the Native American part. Do you find most African Americans, say that they have some Native American in them and they find out they don't?
So yeah, we do hear that a lot, that they have that, Black folks who feel like they have some Native American ancestry, and the data doesn't prove that out with with the same frequency that people want to believe it. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times people, I think this is anecdotal, okay? I'm not an expert on the psychology of Black folks wanting to connect with Native American populations, but
Right.
I think what I've heard them say is, well, I've seen pictures, and my grandmother or great grandmother had really long, straight hair down to her butt. And, she had these features that made her look Native American. But those features appear when you mix African and European too. So I think that it is a much more palatable narrative for us to believe that we descend from indigenous populations rather than the real fact that we are the combination of African and European cultures. So we don't do this kind. So I want to say two things. one, if your mother's 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 mother and so on was the Native American in the family tree, then your results when I reveal them will be Native American.
Mm-hmm.
If your results come back African, then that means that the Native American had to come in through a different branch, and it had to be a branch through a male.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be that on my grandfather's side, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I kind of am leaning a little bit more towards that because my mother's cousin, lived not too far from us. I grew up in an area in LA called Baldwin Hills, and they lived up
Mhm.
the street from us. And I always thought he looked like a Native American and kind of talked like it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like something about him always reminded me of that. He was my mother's age. You know, my mother's now an ancestor, but yeah. So, Sharice, you got any more questions? I think I'm ready.
Well, can I add one more thing? Can I
Yes.
add one more thing that I wanted to say? So the other thing is we know not from our test, but from the data of other companies' tests and research that we've done ourselves, that the average Black person has 75% African ancestry and 25% European ancestry.
I would think that would be true with all the work
So,
going
yeah,
on.
you
Our
and
folks.
that right, and that's the average. And so, we don't see that the average African American has, 72% African ancestry and 3% Native American ancestry. You know what I'm saying? We don't see that. So I think that the other thing we know historically is that African people of African descent joined the Native American community on the Trail of Tears and joined other Native American communities and became part of the community. And so they may have over time identified as Native American, but genetically that wasn't their
Well,
ancestry.
so I also wanted to say it's also the way we were taught history in America, right? So we were taught that we were slaves, we were brought over, the indigenous family was here, but we know that there were Black people here before that as well. So that it only makes sense to me that the data speaks to it. We know that Black people were here that weren't slaves before the transatlantic slave trade. But I wanted to kind of like horsey back off of what Patty said. I know. I told everybody I was Indian growing up. I told them I was from the Cherokee tribe. I don't know where I got it from, but I was damn sure telling everybody that. And we all identify with it because we knew again of how the history was told. It's going to be interesting for me because my mom, her dad was Jamaican and her mother was Indian. So I would like to see, but I don't know. So we'll see. And I don't know what kind, because I never met my grandmother. Even though I met all of her my great aunts and so forth. But when I look at them now as an adult, they actually look European to me. So it was very interesting to see what
Well,
it
Yeah,
says.
we're a wonderful mix. We're a wonderful
Yes,
mix of
yes,
a whole bunch of different things. And
yeah,
African ancestry only looks at one branch at a time.
right,
So we're only giving you part of the picture, but the picture that we are giving you is based on DNA that is the same
right,
as that ancestor who was here, you know,
right.
395 years ago or whatever the time frame. And so uh, it's, knowing a part is important.
Mm-hmm.
it's
Even
very
if you don't know the whole thing, you got to know something. Knowing something is better than knowing nothing.
Right.
yeah, 'cause, I don't think that people like I had been, Professor Small is my Jedna, and he, tells me
Mm,
that our in antiquity, the African tribes, they didn't go out of their tribe to be with other people. They stayed within their own tribe, and it meant something to, be with the same person, be with someone that you grew up with, their family was in the same tribe, in the same village, and that whole kind of thing. You know what I mean? Well, not so much the same tribe, but also the same village as well. And I still kind of think that's important to this day, because I've kind of gotten into a debate with a friend of mine that has moved into Thailand, and he's promoting now that, you know, come over here, these women will treat you good, because Black American women, you know, they don't treat you good. They don't do this for you. They don't do that for you, which I know is not true for myself. I know it's not true for Sharice. I'm sure it's not true for you as well, you know, but
Yeah, I don't know what he's saying that we don't do, but I'm gonna say you're right.
Right.
I'm gonna say that's not true.
well, look, so now we've got about 20 minutes. Okay, so I decided I wanted to do this because I really wanted to know what this was, you know, in my family. You know, I just recently, Sharice and I, you know, recently, her birthday was in October, mine was in November. And this is sort of like, you know, our little born day presents to ourselves or whatever. So, yeah, I think it's important to end 2021 this way. This is the last Wednesday in November. So, let's start with Sharice first, because she is my co-host.
I was gonna say, who's gonna go first?
Okay, I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm
And
ready.
you,
I don't need to write this, right? You're going to send it to me.
no, yeah, you'll be able to go online when we're
Okay.
done and pull up all of your results digitally.
Okay.
Okay, Sharice. So you were saying that you believe your grandmother, your maternal grandmother, to be Indian. Do you mean from the country India? Do you
Native
mean
American.
okay,
Indigenous,
okay,
yeah.
okay, okay. And you know that because that's what you were told.
Yeah. Strictly
Okay.
what we were told, what I was told, yeah.
Okay.
And there, yeah.
Okay. If have you traveled to Africa before?
I've been to Egypt as far as I've gotten into Africa, so I haven't been all around yet.
Okay. And is there any African country that you have an affinity for that you think you might be from? If in fact it's not Native American?
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. Okay. East side.
Hmm.
So we found your maternal ancestry in Africa, on the west coast of Africa.
Really?
And we found that you share genetic ancestry with people living in two countries. So, because we found matches with the same frequency in both countries, we're giving you both both countries as an answer. So there are people living in each of these countries today that share your genetic code of
Hmm.
your mitochondrial DNA. One country is called Bioko Island, which is actually part of Equatorial Guinea, which is a
Ah.
very small country on the west coast of Africa, just south of Cameroon.
Hmm.
And its mainland is Equatorial Guinea, but then there's a series of islands off the coast of Equatorial Guinea that extend up towards Cameroon.
Hmm.
And the island called Bioko Island is where we found your ancestry. The
Mm.
people of Bioko Island are actually have been indigenous to the island from the beginning, and they're called the Bubi people, Bubi. They came over from the mainland. Obviously, they didn't just appear on an island. They're
Mhm.
much closer actually to the country of Cameroon than they are to Equatorial Guinea because of their
Mhm.
placement in the ocean.
Mhm.
And there's a documentary that the BBC did called Motherland: A Genetic Journey.
Mhm.
And in that documentary, they used our test to trace the ancestries of 4 Black Brits. And one of them they traced to Bioko Island. And they took
Wow.
her to
Mhm.
Bioko Island. And
Mhm.
they did some testing of people on Bioko Island. And they found somebody who actually shared her genetic code. So they found a genetic cousin.
Link.
So
Right.
I would suggest that documentary to you because they they were there in the country, and so you can see
Yeah.
the people, you can see the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because of, you guys know this, and your viewers know this, but because the borders of Africa are artificially and politically drawn,
Mm-hmm.
we find shared lineages in different countries. So I told you that Equatorial Guinea borders Cameroon. The other country that you share ancestry with is Cameroon. There are people living in Cameroon today that have the same genetic code as you do. And one of those groups is the Tikar people, Tikar.
Mm-hmm.
And the Tikar are the artists and the artisans of the culture. They are the ones who, you'll see the masks. When you see Cameroonian masks, most likely they are Tikar masks. They are the ones who are the writers and the musicians. We've traced people to the Tikar, like Quincy Jones, for example.
Mm-hmm.
He shares ancestry with the Tikar people. You mentioned Erica Badu, Patty, and we did trace her to Cameroon, but to the Bamileke people.
Mm-hmm.
And the Tikar even had printing before Europeans were even a thought in Cameroon. So your legacy ancestrally is a creative one for sure.
It's very creative.
I think that's
Yeah.
really dope that the first one from the island is totally me with water and everything. Like I feel linked.
Yeah, and Bioko Island is beautiful. So it was colonized by the Portuguese. But so much of the land went untouched. So it really has a thriving ecotourism economy because it just has the most beautiful rainforests and all kinds of flora and fauna and wildlife that lives in that ecosystem. It is definitely a place that people go to enjoy beauty.
Oh, that's dope. So it gave you a percentage of how African I am?
No.
Okay,
So
cool.
we don't do that.
Okay, good.
So yeah, your maternal lineage goes back to Africa, goes back to, so you have thousands of branches of your family tree.
Right.
Just going back 10 generations, there's over 1,000 branches. We looked at one, but
Right.
the one branch we looked at, you have the exact same DNA as that woman who was stolen. And so you have her, and the DNA, it gives me chills every time I explain this to people, but the DNA that we use that we looked at, is called mitochondrial DNA. It's maternally inherited. So you got it from your mother, she got it from her mother, she got it from her mother, and so on and so on. Mitochondrial DNA is what powers every cell in our body. You're at Dr. Sebi, so you probably already know this, but it's what gives our body energy. And your energy comes from Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea, that part of Africa.
Right. That's so dope. I mean, I really appreciate. I'm thankful too because I was worried.
I have all this European, like Rock Newman, like Rock Newman. He had some African, he didn't have any.
Right.
I said,
He
no,
told me that. I was like, Lord, I don't want to hear that.
Listen, and so everybody's scared, right? Especially people who are light skinned like us get scared because we think that our skin color determines how African we are or how much African ancestry we have. But quite honestly, that's not necessarily true, first of all. There's every shade of brown found on the continent. But when we do find European ancestry, it's usually on a paternal line because it was white men who were fathering brown babies at exponential rates. White women weren't having brown babies as much as
Right.
white men were. So we all have European ancestry, whether we look like Wesley Snipes or Mariah Carey, but generally it comes into the family through a white man. So you're safer with
Yeah.
the maternal test.
Yes. Good. All right. Thanks, Dr. Page. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome to the African Ancestry family. So you're going to be able to go online and see your results, and then you can join our online community. There's a digital guide that'll give you information about the people that you share ancestry with, and it's really a great community of people who are very open about sharing resources and information.
Right.
So the minute you go in there, they're going to be like, hey cuz, did you
Right.
know blah 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 blah. So welcome.
Thank you.
Patty.
Okay. Okay.
So what about you? Where have you traveled to in Africa, if anywhere?
I've been to Tunisia, just at the airport in Cairo, and I've been to Nigeria, to Lagos,
Okay.
on Victoria Island in Lagos.
And so do you have an affinity for any place? Is there any place that you want to be from?
I don't really want. It doesn't really matter. But what I find is that so many Ethiopian people think that I'm from Ethiopia, and yeah, the five. And they start talking to me, in Amharic, and they think I'm Habesha. They be like, "You Habesha," and I'm like, "No." I'm like, they're like, "You sure?" I'm like, "No, I don't know." But pretty much, that's pretty much it.
So we rarely find East African results because, they, for the time period that we're focused on, people were coming from West Coast of Africa,
Absolutely.
not from all the way east. But when you study history, you'll see that many of the populations in the West Coast of Africa, if not all of them, came from a migration from the eastern part of Africa into the western part of Africa. And so it's no surprise that there would be similarities in how we look. I also think that, especially in this area where we live, right? There's such a thriving Ethiopian and Eritrean community that I don't know. I think we just all start to kind of resemble each other.
Yeah.
And, it's a numbers game. I don't know.
Right.
But anyway, we found your ancestry in Africa, Patty, on the west coast of Africa in a little tiny country that was also, oh, this is so interesting. It was also colonized by the Portuguese. But you know what? Bioko Island is the only Spanish speaking country in Africa. So for you, Cherise, they speak Spanish in Bioko Island, and if you don't speak Spanish, you'll be speaking it soon, right? In Honduras, isn't that a yeah?
Yeah.
So while it was originally colonized by the Portuguese, it was then given to the or sold or whatever to the Spanish. And so, Patty, your country of ancestry was colonized by the Portuguese. Is one of the few countries in Africa that speaks Portuguese as its official language. And the group of people that you live in I'm sorry, the group of people that you share ancestry with are known as those who resist. So you share ancestry, right? Exactly.
Says it all. Here I am.
You share ancestry with the Balanta people living in Guinea-Bissau today.
Oh.
And the Balanta were instrumental in Guinea-Bissau gaining its independence. They were so fierce that the colonizers almost left them to themselves.
Wow.
Because they were such a fierce people. Now, obviously, they were captured because you're here, and many people are here as the descendants of the Balanta. But it's important to know that they are the resistance in Guinea-Bissau. I don't know if I really need to say anything else. I mean, I think that's pretty much.
So great. My cousin just responded, commented, "Lord have mercy." She's on
Oh, that's your cousin.
Yeah, she's
So
on
now,
my
how are you cousins?
on my dad's side.
Oh, okay. So this wouldn't apply to her.
No, my father, our fathers were brothers.
Okay.
But yeah, so Balanta people of Guinea-Bissau, just one space. Okay. And it's like, if I ever went there, Balanta is a small area in Guinea-Bissau.
Yeah, they're generally, well, the Balanta are found in the southern and central parts of Guinea-Bissau.
Oh, Balanta is a tribe.
Balanta is the group.
Okay, the group. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So they didn't probably have too many Balantas in its transatlantic slave trade.
But what's interesting is that Guinea-Bissau is one of the countries that we find results for most often. It's in the top 5, as is Cameroon. Cameroon, but it's such so much of a bigger country than Guinea-Bissau is. But yeah, and I also wanted to tell you guys some cousins, right? So I mentioned Quincy Jones, but if you know Anthony Anderson, the actor Anthony Anderson, and Wanda Sykes, they both share ancestry with the Bubi people and then the Tikar in Cameroon. So those are some of your cousins, Sharice.
Mm-hmm.
And then in Guinea-Bissau, Patty, you've got cousins like Sheila E. We traced her to the Balanta people. Q-Tip from A Tribe Called Quest.
Okay.
We traced him to the Jola people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of Charlemagne the God. We traced him to the Fula people in Guinea-Bissau. So there are a number of notable cousins that you have over on your side of the West Coast. You're from the West Coast of U.S. to the West Coast of Africa.
Oh,
from Baldwin Hills to the Balanta.
From the Balanta to Baldwin Hills. Well, this has been very interesting. So we only have like 2 minutes because I know you have something else to do. Just a quick question. So how will we be able to find out other ancestry that we have within us without, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so you just need to get other family members engaged. So you have 2 parents and you have 4 grandparents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So think about it. We've traced one of your 4 grandparents. Mm-hmm. We've traced the ancestry of your maternal grandmother.
Right.
You could look at your maternal grandfather. That would take the patriclan test, and you need one of his male descendants.
Mm-hmm. Like an uncle.
Right. So your mother's brother, your mother's brother's son could get you your maternal grandfather's ancestry, paternal ancestry. And then you could go over to your father's side and you could look at your paternal grandmother. That's an option. To get her ancestry, it would be one of her children or one of her daughter's children. So your father, one of your aunts, or one of your cousins from an aunt could get that line.
Okay.
And then the last option that I'll present, I mean, there are thousands of options, but the last option would be your paternal ancestry, your father's 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 line. And that would take, that you could get from your dad, your brother, anybody on your father's side of the family, any male from your father's side of the family.
Yeah, because my father's deceased. I don't have any brothers.
Okay. Do you have an uncle?
Yes.
So you can use him or any of his sons.
Okay. Well, we have approached 6:45. Oh, this has been wonderful.
Thank you so much, Doc.
Yeah, thank you.
Listen, it's a pleasure. And I have to say, you guys have the patience of Job, because we've been sitting on your results for a minute waiting to schedule this. So I appreciate that you guys held out, especially you, Sharice, since I understand you're the one who would have looked.
Yeah.
so that we could share this experience with your audience. It's really important, I think, for people to see it tangibly, see it in action, to see that we're real people. We're an all Black staff. We are privately owned. And like you said, we don't sell or share your information. We're in the business of being Black, and that means helping Black people reclaim and restore their identities. That's why we exist. And so I just appreciate that you're going to go into the new year knowing who you are,
Yeah.
and that your audience will do the same. And I have to say, it's the perfect time for your audience because we have a special going on. Today's the last day. This is the lowest price. It hurts my heart to go this low. But if you're going to go low, you got to do it during Kwanzaa on Ujima
Right.
when we're celebrating Black businesses. And so they can take advantage of that special if they go to AfricanAncestry.com now. Today, it ends tonight.
Okay,
Good.
so that's for all the Patrick Clan and the Match.
All the tests, everything. All of our tests are 15% off.
Okay.
Well,
good.
everyone, we just had our reveal with Gina Page, one of the co-founders of AfricanAncestry.com. And we're Black and we are from Africa. Okay. And we want to thank you so much for providing this for us. And yeah, maybe we could come back and do the Patrick Clan. That would be really good.
I'll come back anytime. It's been a ball. And I again, thank you so much. I appreciate you helping to spread the word.
All right. Thank you too.
Thanks,
Have
Dr.
a good night,
Page.
everybody.
Take care.
Woo!
That was cool. That was really cool. I really didn't expect that, and then to know that I almost feel like I don't almost feel like I understand that really is me. Like I'm miles and miles away, thousands of miles away, and thousands of years away, and I really still am like the embodiment, what it sounds like. Those groups of people.
Yeah.
The islands. Now I know why I can't keep myself out the water. I just can't do it. That's why I was drying my hair off because it's wet from swimming.
Girl, you were swimming today?
Mm-hmm.
So look, I'm all looking at the Balanta people. Yeah, I'm kind of resistant, right?
Those, let's just say you come from the club. Those who resist. I'm like, yeah, that's Patty. I mean, you're on the show. We're on a show called Truth to Power,
Okay.
and then you find that that's where your lineage is from. I'm like, yeah, that's where she's from.
Wow. Yeah, they said, well, this is just Wikipedia. It says the Balanta are an ethnic group found in Guinea-Bissau, Senegal, Guinea, and the Gambia. They're the largest ethnic group of Guinea-Bissau. This is really something, y'all. But I thought that she would have the percentages, but I guess,
Yeah. I'm cool with not having it.
Cherise, you are crazy. Oh God. Is Tywa still there?
No, she went down because it's dark here now. It's dark there too, right?
Yeah, 6:49. Yeah. So okay, so let's get on because this is mitochondrial DNA. I want to touch a little bit on how important it is to keep your DNA to yourself, and the things that can be done with DNA. You know what I mean? If they can trace you back, however many hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, to an ethnic group far across the other side of the world. What will they be able to do if they get your DNA? Like with this whole look, I'm not trying to get flagged on here, but with this what do we call it? With this pandemic that I call it, okay?
Yeah, it is.
And a lot of people that I know recently, Cherise, I've been blending up CMOS daily.
Yes.
Now, because many people have caught this thing. And it's not the ones that I've been in contact with. They just have flu symptoms, and cold symptoms.
Right. So my daughter, I have twins. Both of them got it. My son and my daughter got it. Both living at the same time. Both living, one in New Jersey and one in Maryland. And both of them was like, I'm fine. I'm just a little stuffy and this and that. But when they
Right.
took the test, it was negative.
It was negative.
I mean, it was positive.
Oh.
But I was going to say, like, for the symptoms that they normally say come with COVID, they didn't have any of it. It really sounded just more like your common cold kind of thing, or flu season type stuff. And it's just interesting because I just felt like before there was a lot of false positives. And I wonder, just to, continue to, I mean, I know that there is a such thing as COVID, and that it is real, and that you can catch a virus. So I'm not saying that. But I am saying that at the alarm and the rate that they're saying, I just really don't believe it. And then we still see we've had flu for years. And so I don't know. But it does seem to be, coast to coast. It almost looks like they're about to, or not even, I mean, I'm talking about worldwide. And from the numbers and how many people are catching it, it almost seems like they're about to go back into pandemic mode. I mean, I know we've never come out, but back into where we started.
I doubt it. It's gonna mess up the economy too much. I don't think it's going
Yeah.
to like that. What's going over in Honduras? Is it people wearing masks and all that?
Yeah, you still have to wear a mask. They had a curfew. Every time I've been here, there was a curfew. They lifted the curfew now. But most people, I would say, don't wear a mask. Like, you don't have to unless you're going into a like official store. But most of these stores are, mom and pop-ish, and you don't have to wear one there.
Wow. So I need to interview you and Asami. I'm like, shoot, let's talk a little bit about Usha Village. Like, wow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you
And
know
then
of anybody that's come there that's gotten COVID and come to Usha Village to get cured?
there's actually someone here with COVID right now.
Mm.
So it was one of the nurses who was caring for someone, but everything is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they moved her away. All of the patients that are here are fine, or clients are fine. We're fine.
What did she brought it to the village from someplace else?
Yeah, probably from home, and she was coming to work, because they come in and leave daily, the staff.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
we black, we black, we black, we black, we black, we black, we black.
You know what's really interesting to me, and I don't really fully understand it, because from what I've read and what I've listened to people lecture, our Black scholars lecture, that the Africans circumnavigated the globe. If you look back 6,000 years ago in ancient Kemet, they in the I say Tutankhamun, Tutankhamun, okay.
Mhm.
I say
Go ahead, girl.
Tutankhamun, and in the findings that they had like boats, like serious like vessels that were created. That's
Mm-hmm.
6,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So why in the heck wouldn't they think that we have been here and everywhere else around the world?
Mm-hmm.
And through biological climatology, we just different. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I can show you a picture when I was 10. I think I put it on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. One of my friends, unfortunately, she passed last year. RIP to Rhonda. Girl, it was dark because I was always in the sun.
Yeah.
And then when I came out here with the 4 seasons,
Yeah.
I don't look the same. You know what I mean? The complexion is different. So biological climatology changed that even within myself.
That's right.
So if you have a group of people that, throughout time, thousands of years and so forth or whatever, they, adapt to the terrain that they're living on, and all of that, why do you think that everybody didn't come from there in the first place?
Right.
And we say indigenous over here, of course, okay, but let me ask you this: do you think that people just kind of transformed into the way that they looked because of you know um, just where they live, the climate, and all that other stuff?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Hell no. Yes, climate matters, right? No, I thought you were asking. I thought you were saying rhetorically. No.
No.
Oh, absolutely. I used to always say when I was younger, I was like, I need to live in the South so my children can get more melanin. I really was trying to because, and I've seen people who've moved south who've actually changed the tone of the family, not just through the father and stuff. I'm saying they never went back to the color that they once were, just like you said about yourself. So yeah.
Right. Well, I guess we're gonna take this information and do what with it, Sharice? I think I would like to investigate some more on it.
Oh, I'm going to the island. Oh, it's a trip is about to be booked. So I'm gonna go find out exactly. I'm going to meet the booby people. I'm going to meet my folks. I'm on my way. Cameroon, and I'm on my way. I want to get some of the masks that she was talking about. Like I'm all over it. I can't wait to end this live so I could go and do, like she said, and do some research and some investigating because now I'm all wide open. I want to learn and understand more because I think it'll probably bring me closer to myself and this human experience. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm even more curious to find out my paternal side, on my father's side and my mother's side.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in that. One of my cousins today linked me up with her niece that has done some research on our grandfather's side, which is the Wilson side, because my grandma, my mother's maiden name was Bailey, which was the same name as Frederick Douglass. He was a Bailey. But then also Amos Wilson, one of our Black scholars, he's from Mississippi as well. And I would like to find out if we were connected to him in some regard. But she had done some research and found out that on the Wilson side that there's a connection with the Choctaw. I would like to see the breakdown of the different lineages outside of African inside of me as well. If there was Native American, if there was, and I forgot to ask her, is she mailing us our stuff? Because you all the way over there. Or was it email?
No, email. She said log into your account and then everything that she told you is there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, very exciting. Very exciting. Well, when I looked at that bedpost, I was like, is that the bedpost that Dr. Savior was talking from when he was sitting in his bed? Where's Asami?
Girl, I tried to. He's outside.
Oh, okay.
With the puppy, yeah, because she was barking and making noise, so he's trying to keep her calm.
Oh, you got a dog?
Yeah, we have a baby, Cane Corso.
Oh.
Yeah,
how old is
she is 3 months. She was born on my birthday, September 27th. Okay. But yeah, we needed something for the land out here. Can't be, slipping out here. Animals, people.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, I'm glad that you're there. You're settled in. You guys getting it together or whatever. What a beautiful thing. I'm kind of like very curious to know more about the Balanta people.
Yeah. So we definitely have to do a subsequent show, and then I'm gonna order the kit so I can do my paternal, get it from my uncle because my father is deceased, but my uncle is so.
So what about your mother's father's side?
I have an uncle on that side too. I want to know the dad's side. I need to know a little bit about,
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start with my mother's father, that, and then I'll go down to because then that would be 3 different tests that have to be done.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because my father's mother, my father's father, and then my mother's father. That's 3 different tests.
Yeah.
Well, Sharice, we're ending 2021, girl. I don't know what Truth to Power is going to be doing in 2022.
Right.
Because oh, and also we got to get some more of that CMOS. Now you can plug that. I am retelling Asami, Dr. Sebi's eldest son, Asami Alfredo Bowman Jr., BKA, better known as Asami, his CMOS bladderwrack capsules. So you and I need to connect on that series because I've sold probably almost all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And you know what, can for the listeners, for his herbal products, what is the website for that and what's the name of it?
It is Oasis Healing Academy. Oasis Healing Academy, spelled exactly how it's .com. And yeah, that's where you can go find all of his herbal compounds that, you know, a lot of which he started with his father, and then many of which are just his own.
Are some of them from his dad? You said some of them.
Combination. I'm saying combination with they. You know, they started the herbal journey together.
Oh, okay. So oasishealingacademy.com. Ooh, where's that headache coming from? Girl, you know, every time I feel something, I'll be like, shit, is this going to happen to me now? I'm like, man, I'm feeling like, okay, come on now. Every time I feel something, do I have to feel like that I got COVID too? Don't.
Right. Well, you're a feeler, but no, they push it up off of you. Get that up off you.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to end this broadcast. Maybe we'll see us in 2022. I got to figure some things out because I've been super, super busy.
Yes, you have.
The nail salon, Imhotep. Let me not call it a salon. It's a spa because when you come, we give you, you know, a big, you know, dose of love in this joint. You know what I mean? And, you know,
and it's truly high class and, you know, high end. I mean, you don't have a hole in the wall with the light bulb hanging down the string in the middle of the road. Like, it's a nice spa. It's very nice. Yes.
Appreciate that. I want people to feel special when they sit in that pedicure throne, you know, that service, all of that. But yeah, we're gonna have to come back, Sharice. I'll figure it out, you know. And the reception is great there. The internet is very good there.
Not too bad, right?
I know. Well, I'm so happy for you. I'm happy for Asami. I'm glad that you guys are there and you guys are making some things happen in Honduras. And thanks again to Gina Page of AfricanAncestry.com for giving us our reveal. And also to my cousin, Cheryl Patton, for being the producer.
Thanks, Cheryl. Yeah.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you, Shirley. No, she hates when I say Shirley, Cheryl. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in to Truth to Power. Not on WEAC Radio tonight, doing our own thing on StreamYard. And next time we decide to do something, we'll let y'all know. We'll just post it on either Facebook or, you know, do a countdown on Instagram. I mean, on YouTube, and post it on Instagram. All right. Peace and love, everybody. Thanks, Sharice. So we out of here, y'all. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I found out on my maternal side, my mother's mother, that I'm from the Balanta group of Guinea-Bissau, which are people who didn't play. I don't play either. You know what I mean? Sometimes they don't understand that, but I really don't. But thank you for tuning in for this special broadcast, the last one of 2021. And we'll see you on the flip side of 2022, hopefully. Peace and love and Ujamaa. Peace.